Tuesday series thing or whatnot. So excited to be here. I don't know if
yeah, the gramophone just opened up, so it's going to be a club to support music of all varieties, but it's set up as strictly a performance venue club kind of thing. So it'd be great to see that take off and thrive in the city of St. Louis. Frank already introduced himself, but Frank and I met 10 years ago or more when he was a very young budding artist, and Frank did his first CD with Von Freeman back in, what was that?
yeah, like maybe 95 or something.
95, okay. Frank's based out of Chicago. It's great to get him here in St. Louis. We're only 4 hours away, so we need to get him in St. Louis a little more often. Grammy Award-winning artist, Rico and Yamaha artist as well. Take it away, Frank.
Well, I do appreciate Mark having me. Like I said, I think probably I bought and sold probably about at least 15 or so saxophones with Mark over the years. So I was very excited to like be upstairs and like seeing all the cool museum type saxophones. And then like around here, this is like definitely a kid in the candy store with all these going on. And I do have quite a few vintage, saxophones too, because I love the way different instruments sound and feel and play, and I have some that I never sell. I have been a Yamaha endorser for about 5 or 6 years though. Just from doing so much traveling on the road and whatnot, I probably did about 200 gigs last year outside of my Chicago home. So as far as like having, the old Mark 6, and I have a really cool Silver Sonic that I both, I love to play on them, but it was just the, bumping around in the overhead bin and everything like that, it was getting to be a nightmare. So this thing pretty much takes a beating. And I was in Atlanta playing over the weekend, flew home, had a day off, drove in this morning, and my drummer had at least one drum, if not two, fall on this thing, and I have it in the leather Reunion Blues gig bag. So it's like for the beating that this poor guy has taken, I can't believe how it responds so well. And I had a silver-plated Custom Z like this that I was playing the IAJE in Toronto earlier this year. And there was about 500 people at my clinic, and it was really nice and everything. And one really nice guy at the end came up and he asked for like a picture, and he asked, "Can I try your saxophone?" And normally I'd be like, I don't want to too much, but my thinking is, it's a clinic to try to, get people to also, check out different equipment and stuff. When people say they want to try my mouthpiece, I'm kind of like, that's kind of weird. But the horn, I'm like, sure. So like I let him try it, and he wanted to put it on, the neck strap, and boom, it hit the ground, and I was like, oh man. And I was supposed to go straight from Toronto to New York the next day. I was doing a double bill with the band the Yellow Jackets, and I'm like, this is important. So the guy, Steve Butterworth that runs Yamaha Canada, said, hey, pick any of the ones that we have here. And I tried this one, and I really liked it, and I kept the same neck on it that I've been using. And ironically, I'm glad he did that, because the people from Columbia Records were out at my show, and they signed me like that next week to Columbia Records. And my newest CD, I have some with me here today. It's called Bang, and it's been on the Billboard charts for the last month and selling well, and it's been a good thing. I know later tonight, if anyone's able to come out to the Gramophone, like we were mentioning earlier, it's a free show. It's sponsored by Jazz at the Bistro, and they have some, so basically it's my full band. They're setting up right now as we're speaking, and if you can make it out, I don't know the exact address, but Mark might be able to help with that. So
yeah, we'll get directions for that.
But that at least is the whole band and whatnot. So I'm going to try to address a few things that I think are kind of important, saxophone-wise and whatnot. And definitely, this does seem to be like a really awesome backdrop. I hope we're getting some good pictures or something. I have my camera phone, but it doesn't work so good. I was playing at the Cotton Club in Tokyo about a year ago, and some somebody posted on YouTube. I'm sure it was taken with some type of camera phone or something that also takes some video. And if you go, type in Frank Catalano on YouTube, this will come up. It's me playing one of my songs, live, but it literally looks like there's 2 pixels. Like my head's kind of over here, and like my body, it's pretty freaky looking. And then the whole band maybe each got 1 pixel. So it's like it's kind of freaky looking. I'm exaggerating, but not by all that much. So I'm going to start by saying that I probably don't take as good a care of my reeds and equipment as most people say you should. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad or whatever, but when you are traveling so much, it's really difficult. So I have a reed that I used in Atlanta a few days ago, then yesterday in Chicago, then today, here, and I just blew a couple notes in to make sure it was working somewhat. I personally, and again, I know most people say not to do this, but my thinking is, as I've done a lot of clinics over the last, 5 to 10 years, I kind of just like, saying what I like to do, and I also like hearing what other people, prefer and whatnot, and getting some feedback and dialogue going. But I do know that I can say at least twice a month for the last 2 or 3 years, because of cancellations of flights, problems with flights. I played the Maui Jazz Festival. My set was supposed to start as the car driving me from the off the dock was like, pulling up. So literally my band, which was a local, backing band, is there. So you don't get a chance to warm up with them. You don't get a chance to sound check. You don't get a chance to run any of the tunes you're going to do. And you definitely don't get a chance to try out reeds and stuff. And Hawaii versus New Orleans versus Chicago versus New York versus the south of France, it's all different climates. One reed might play well in one setting and not well in another. So while I do know a lot of people disagree with me, my way of doing it is make sure you got one that kind of works somewhere, and you do this. and you use it as it works on some level as its own humidifier of sorts to keep it kind of going. So like a show like that, I can tell, like, if I really wanted to make sure to have a reed that was playing a smidgy better, I could go through and test them out and get one that is, maybe plays better. I can tell as I'm going high there might be a little bit of a dead spot to it. But I also know I'd rather have something that's playing like 96% well, and at least it's consistent, and maybe you played on it the last night and you feel that it's going to work for you, as opposed to maybe taking half hour to get a reed going when you truly might not have it. So I always leave it like this, just as a backup. And like, I got here a little late, and we were upstairs like looking at all the cool saxophones, and I came down thinking, okay, I'll warm up, but then there was a bunch of people here already, so I'm like, again, I'm not going to really have time to do it. So this is my little backup plan that I'm just sharing, which some people would probably want to burn me at the stake for saying it maybe, but it is what I do, and it has saved my butt more times than I could possibly say. What are some warm-up exercises that you might like to do? Any suggestions or thoughts?
Patterns for jazz.
What do you like to do?
I like to do patterns for jazz.
Patterns for jazz? Okay, that's cool. What's another one?
Long tones.
Long tones for sure.
Long tones.
Yeah, definitely long tones. I know one thing that I like to do. These glasses, I'm going to just say, this is my 3rd pair of these same types of glasses. About 3 weeks ago, so I'm being careful where I put them. About 3 weeks ago, I was playing at a club called Andy's in Chicago, and there was this really nice girl that came in. She's like, I have all your CDs, I like jazz, I've heard you play a million times. This is my bachelorette party, I'm getting married next week, blah, blah, blah. She had a lot of nice girls with her. My girlfriend was there making sure I wasn't doing anything wrong, but they seemed like nice and like they're having a good time. And so she's like, Frank, did I take a picture with you? And I'm like, sure, because I want to have a good time and like be nice and everything. I always like to have my glasses like folded up kind of like by my monitor or whatever. She took 2 steps on stage.
Oh, man.
So like, I'm being very careful and putting them on this music stand. But yeah, that's another